everybody. Good to see you. And this is another episode of the Waybright Family Podcast. I'm here in the kitchen and with my friends Julie and Nicolle. So, how have you guys been this week?
Man, if I was any better, I'd be you. Had a great week.
It has been a good week. April showers bring May flowers, right?
Absolutely. Not only the flowers coming out, the volunteers are coming out, the leaves are coming out, the animals are coming out. Just a great week overall, great month. Excited to be here.
How about you, Julie?
I am doing fantastic. It's always good to be here with you, Marsha. The weather here in Charlotte, North Carolina. I woke up one day and all the leaves were on the trees, and now we're averaging in the 80s. So the weather is fantastic. The leaves are on the trees. We finally got rid of all the pollen, and we are marching toward summer for sure down here in Charlotte, North Carolina. So just a reminder for everybody listening, whether you're live with us now or watching at a later time, you can also listen to the Waybright Family Podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Overcast. You can find it on YouTube Music, Amazon, iHeartRadio, all the wonderful apps. So if you happen to miss this episode live, you're not here with us, we're sad about it, but you can always listen to us in the car while you're working out or whatever you do. So just wanted to remind everybody and throw that out there. And Marsha, I'm going to throw it back to you.
Well, we've had a busy month so far. It's only the beginning of May, but I tell you, it's already been loaded. So the end of April, we started with the West Virginia Department of Agriculture did an agritourism conference. Julie, would you like to show that video and then we'll talk about it?
Marsha, that bus.
You don't see those in Jenningston very often. That was a huge bus. In fact, whenever they got here, the bus driver was too afraid to bring it across the Jenningston Bridge. Which was actually pretty awesome because they parked on the other side of the bridge and everybody walked up to the farm, which is about a half a mile. So we got our Mountaineer Mile in. It was awesome. Walking back and then forth, But it was a great day. We had perfect weather. All these people came looking to learn about agritourism. And I think they had about 140 people in total that attended that conference. I'm not sure how many of them were, but we were one of the stops of the farm tours. It was just awesome. Awesome group of people. We taught them about Jenningston and how this was a lumber town. We walked around. We talked about everything that we do here. And, we had a lot of questions and helping other people, get their information correctly. Sometimes I tend to do everything the hard way at least once, sometimes twice. So it's nice to meet up with other people and, help them not make the same mistakes and maybe do things a little bit better, a little easier, a little faster. And, just get an idea of what it's like to be a part of agritourism.
When I saw that picture of that bus, I said, that has got to be the thumbnail of this episode. So that's pretty cool. I mean, if any of you all that have been to the farm, I just can't imagine that bus going down any of those roads. So for the bus driver to get that far, and then they had to do the Mountaineer Mile, so to speak, to get to your property, which it worked out fantastic.
They had a good driver, very good driver. That's one of the charter buses from WVU. So, that nice, beautiful new charter bus coming way out into the country. I'm sure it was an adventure.
I guarantee it. Those passengers were like, where are you taking us? One of the most beautiful places on earth.
They said one of the things that we got from those people, the biggest compliment I think that we got was, we are so glad that they couldn't go across the bridge or didn't want to, because walking up to the farm was just so beautiful and amazing. And, that's what our Allegheny trail hikers get to see, whenever they come into the farm too. And They said it just felt like we were walking home, just coming into this big farmhouse. And I think we had some snacks and things, and they got to walk around and just see everything that we're doing here on the farm growing. Now, there's not a whole lot, growing right now because we just started to plant, but just giving everybody the idea of, what's to come. It was pretty amazing. And there's a lot of foraging we're doing right now. So I got to see a lot of that.
That's great. And I'm sure a lot of those people haven't had such opportunity to not only have the insight, but the personalities that go with your family too, and have the true experience and the hospitality that you provide, Marsha, and your family is tremendous. So I'm personally glad they all got to experience that.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. But while they were here, they got to see some of the things that we forage. We have our mountain medicine trail signs up, and so they got to walk around and see some of those signs and see everything that we do here with forest farming. And we had another guest that was here all last week, and shout out to Ruth. Ruth, if you're watching, hello, we want you to come back soon. She was like one of our favorite interns. She came, she spent a whole week here. She wanted the full on I'm a farm girl experience, which came with shadowing me, my children, my husband. And then actually by the end of the week, she picked up and was doing the chores herself. And we just kind of watched from afar, and she did awesome. She just had a really good time. And the week included, we foraged some lilac bloom, which I'll show you. This is the lilac bloom here in the front. We foraged that. We made some lilac tea, which in turn we then turned into the lilac jelly.
Yummy.
And a lot of people think most lilacs are purple, and you've got white.
Well, we've got both. We've got white and purple, and I was going to bring in a purple one, but you know what? The purple ones came on before the white ones, and so they're turning brown now. It's really quick whenever they start to bloom. But anyway, we had some really pretty white ones left, but we did, the jelly is actually, and it turned out yellow, which is surprising because the jelly was half purple, half white lilac, and we still got this color from it. So that's a pretty interesting turn. And then we also did violets. In fact, Julie, if you want to play that second video, we can just show them what Miss Ruth did while she was here last week. So that's the process that we went through. Yeah, we made the violet jelly. So this is an example of the violets. You can see them there. And then the violet jelly turned out this really pretty, it's not quite what I would call violet, but more of a light pink. It turned out really good. And then we did freeze-dried dandelions. So you can see the freeze-dried dandelions here. And what do you think we do with dandelions, Julie?
I cannot imagine. We used to pop their heads off. I certainly didn't bring them in the house and bag them up, so you got to tell me.
Dandelions are very medicinal, the roots and the tops of them. And so these dandelions will actually be used for tea. Some of the tea that, we'll be mixing up, we'll be putting some other things with it. Dandelion can be just a bit bitter, but it's really good. It's a liver cleanse. And so it's really good for your body. It has a lot of really good medicinal properties. Have you ever used it, Nicolle?
You can make dandelion wine. You can make dandelion fritters. You can make
jelly.
Dandelion a lot of things. I actually just eat it.
Yeah.
It's got that.
Yeah.
It's not, to me, and again, it depends what phase it's in, but man, and then they open and close. Like, I don't know if people know, but they open and close in the day and in the night, which is kind of cool. They're conserving, right? They're closing up that energy to burst back open the next day to be really powerhouses for all the pollinators too this early in the season, which is kind of cool. You see townships and a lot of municipalities go through a no-mow May and try to have that energy conserved for our pollinators that are coming back. And so, yeah, I personally just like the taste of the flower. But I also know, like, the value of the bitter that's missing in our diet today and the wild foods. And so I can't say it's my favorite, but I do eat some of the leaves too. So,
yeah, the leaves are awesome. Very high in iron. The leaves are really good for you in a salad. And the leaves aren't quite as bitter as the yellow part where the petals are is not as bitter either. But the little green part that's behind the petals that hold them together, like if you pull that off, the petals go flying. It tends to be a little more bitter than the rest of the plant. And of course, the stem is very bitter in the juice that comes out of it. But the flower itself is really not that bitter. It's that little green part on the back. You have a good point there. The dandelions do pop open in the day and then they close at night. So it's really important when you're foraging not to just pick these flowers. You can pick a lot of things and throw them in water until you get to them later or whatever. You can grab stuff up. Dandelions are not something that you want to pick and leave in water. You need to, as you pick them, you need to take care of them. These are actually freeze dried, which happens to be one of my favorite ways of preserving them, because if they aren't dehydrated properly, they'll still start to kind of go into that fluffy seed stage and come apart. They actually will close in the water, and then you're kind of left with this little tiny closed up thing. But if you freeze dry them before they close, then they stay open and they make that, they just look bigger and more pretty. They don't have that really tight look to them. So,
And you making tea with those? Is that what you said?
making tea with it. Yep. The next time you come down, I'll make you a cup.
I like the analogy though, because I close at night, early evening, and then I just burst back out in the morning like, world, here I am. So
Yes, ma'am.
maybe my name should have been Dandelion. Yeah, I mean, I just close up and it dandy, and bam, I'm back.
You know, dandelions too are very, you see them everywhere in May. And then it's almost like everybody complains about them and everybody tries to put stuff on their lawns to get rid of them. But you know what? You see a few here and there after, but it's like they're here and then they're gone. They don't, the green part still hangs out, but May is like their month, like probably like the end of April and mid to late May. You know, you'll still see one or two or something, but they're in their prime right now where you go out and you grab them for tea and to preserve them so that you can use them later.
And Julie, I'm just going to say one more thing
Uh-oh.
about you and your new name, Dandy. Because here's the thing. We have all seen the resiliency and the determination of a dandelion to pop up through a crack in a sidewalk. I was just out in the woods doing trail work, pop up in the middle of nowhere on a rock with like just a little bitty, maybe not even we would consider dirt to grow him. But there she is, shiny, happy, glorious. So I think maybe Dandy might be a new nickname, trail name for you.
That's right, baby. I just pop up all over the place. You all teach me something every show, and I'm thankful for it. You guys are my educators.
That's awesome.
We had another educational presentation that happened. It was actually May 1st. We had the Tigris Valley Conservation District came to the farm and we did a biochar demonstration. So what do you think about that, Julie? Have you ever had your hands on biochar?
I'm not sure, but it sounds like it's going to burn my hands up. So, you know, the next show I'm going to bring my high school, transcript, and I'm going to show y'all what I got in science and all these topics y'all talk about. It was not good. It was not good.
But now we should update that because see, look how much you're learning.
True.
Yep.
Biochar is, it's basically charcoal, only you make it without the chemicals. So what you buy in the store, even if you buy the kind that doesn't have as many chemicals on it, it still will have some chemical content to it. You know, the kind that doesn't come with the lighter fluid on it or whatever. But this biochar, you take wood off your farm, wherever, nice clean wood, not anything treated, and you burn it until the flame goes out, and then you douse it with water. You don't want it to be ashes. You want it to be charcoal looking. And you want to show that video, Julie? There's the West Virginia cowboy.
What'd you call him? The West Virginia cowboy?
That is our friend Jim Nestor. And he does a really good job. And Donnie Tenney, they come with the Tigris Valley Conservation District. They're really good sports and good at making biochar. They help me out usually a couple times a year in, teaching how to do biochar and ground cover for high tunnels and that kind of thing. And, the Tigris Valley Conservation District have some really good programs for people who, are just starting out as farmers. And even the people who have been farming for a while, they have some really good programs to help out with that. But biochar is a really, really cool thing. And I am going to let Nicolle describe it because we all love Nicolle's descriptions of anything.
Thank you for that. And if I don't meet your expectation, feel free to chime back in. But full disclosure, biochar has been around forever, as long as lightning has been around, right? And so one of the things about biochar, I would bet almost every listener and their parents all the way back as far as they can look at their lineage. So, Julie, I know you've touched biochar before. I can guarantee it.
I probably have. I'm positive I have.
basically what it is what she said. You can take some beautiful, pristine wood that has died. Okay, you don't want that necessarily green wood, but you want something that is dried. I love to do it with maple myself, some oak if I find some branches, not huge chunks, right? And if you've ever seen a fireplace where, they actually the fire's going, and I guess I should say like a wood burner fireplace. So the fire's going, you close off the front door, you lock it down. All of a sudden, that fire begins to dance, whirl through the firebox, and it looks like it's doing its own thing. We're stripping the oxygen out of that is what happens. And so there's a oxidation process, I believe, that occurs in there. We don't want a ton of oxygen, but we're just forcefully burning. And we don't let that, like she said, like Marsha said, we don't let that go to ash. So we prohibit and we stunt that full cycle of burning wood. And what we do is right before the end of that, we can douse it with the water. And then what happens after is magical. It's one of my most favorite things because y'all know I love fungi. But
Here it comes.
It becomes extremely porous. And what happens is it's like the forest party at that point. So you've got all kinds of fungi and microorganisms getting together. Think like a huge apartment complex for joy and love and the properties that we all need for the forest to thrive. Now, the reason, I'll throw it back to Marsha, but Marsha, why would you want to put something this impressive, this special, this powerful on your property?
Whenever you put this in your garden, this is where we put it, okay? Flower beds, whatever. You need to charge it first, and it holds all of the nutrients in all of those little crevices. It's kind of, picture it like a sponge, and it holds all the nutrients in there. Now, remember that if you buy this commercially, because you can buy biochar, it's very easy to make yourself. There's no reason to buy it. But if you do, you can either buy pre-charged or uncharged. And if you buy the uncharged, that means it has not been mixed in with compost or manure or, anything else that would give the nutrients to bring to your garden. So what happens, if somebody is poisoned and you go to the hospital, they give you charcoal, right? Why do they do that? Because the charcoal absorbs the poison and then it flushes out of your system. So if you put charcoal or biochar on your garden and it's not pre-charged, it can actually pull the nutrients out of your garden. So you always want to make sure that if you make it yourself, you don't just mix it in to your garden. You actually charge it first by mixing it in with manure tea, any kind of compost or something like that to make sure that it's ready and it's ready to give those nutrients to your garden.
Absolutely. And you can make compost tea as well, not just like manure tea for maybe some of our fellow listeners out there that are more on the gardening side and composting element. But it is such an advantage to anything that's living, including us, right? So we're going to amplify, ratchet up all that nutrition that we're getting out of our organic gardens that we're doing at home, which is pretty daggone special to begin with.
To prove that this is so good, I mean, people brush their teeth with charcoal. They do all different kinds of supplements. If you have a stomach issue or something, some people will take charcoal and it helps. But whenever we make the charcoal or the biochar here on the farm, you can actually eat it. We after they're finished making it, for the demonstration, we go out there and everybody gets a sample of it. And, it tastes just like what you would buy to use to brush your teeth with or, to take as a supplement. So
we're putting that on the list for Julie to try.
Make a note of it right now, Julie. Your teeth will be much whiter after you brush with biochar.
I'm willing to rub charcoal all in my mouth. I mean, whatever you guys need me to do. Who knows what toxins will come out of me?
Who knows?
I will come home a different person, and I'll just have to take a bunch of that to my students at school, and they'll look at me like I have really lost it at that point. They already think I have now, but that'll put the icing on the cake.
Wait till they meet your friends, huh?
They think I'm so boring. They have no clue.
That's right. They don't. You're amazing. Marsha, what else is in that fungi family in front of you there?
This is the last. We're probably coming to the end of morel season. So we have our asparagus, which is probably coming to an end too. We may have a little bit left. But these are some of our spring, the last of the spring things starting to move into summer stuff. So
Now, I will say, when I first got on the call, I thought she had fried chicken up there. I thought those were like chicken legs.
Oh my gosh. For those of you that are driving and listening, for the record, that looks like a Molly Moocher morel. So, they're a little bit big. They're a little bit, they look like a little brain that on a cone, like a pine cone brain, though. And so I can see why you thought that.
I said,
but
now we're talking my
better.
language. Fried chicken.
we'll never be that casual, that ordinary.
That's so plain, fried chicken. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, so plain. That is just like so plain. We also have a new product line in our gift shop from a local. We try to stay local, Tucker County, Randolph County, and then work our way out West Virginia products in our gift shop. And we have Mountain Man Apothecary, and we have his tinctures. Now, we make tinctures and we make salves here on the farm, but as you know, we make our jellies and our teas and all kinds of things. But we often use them here on the farm, and so we don't always make enough to sell, or we need help from other herbalists and people who make these kinds of things. And we're happy to work with other farmers and other crafters to sell their stuff in our gift shop. We invite people to approach us, and we love to carry other stuff because we can't keep up with the demand. We don't carry anything in our gift shop, though. I will tell you this, if we ain't buying it, we ain't selling it. So we only sell the best. And this young man's tinctures and salves are really awesome. So if you're looking for any of that stuff, we now have it in our shop as well.
Question for Miss Marsha here. First of all, Julie, you eat asparagus, right?
I do eat asparagus, yes.
Have you had purple asparagus?
I don't care what color it is. I'll eat it. I like asparagus.
Because I was just going to say, Marsha, what color is your asparagus?
So my asparagus is green right now. That's all I have. I don't have any of the purple. I would like to get some purple.
Y'all not getting me on that one.
Just wait, Julie. I got a question for you coming up, girl.
Oh my gosh.
How old is your patch? Your asparagus patch?
This asparagus is about 30 years old. The patch is, and it comes from the other farm. This is asparagus that I planted myself when I was very young. I'm not going to go there, but and
sure.
It has been doing so good, and it's just reliable. I started a patch down here at the bed and breakfast. I had a really large patch, and I was so proud, and I was so excited. I have the moles, they just cleaned me out. So now I'm going to try to do a flower bed or a raised bed where I'm going to put screen down and fill it in and make a raised bed and then put the asparagus in it. Because the way I see it, if I can lure those little suckers out of the ground, maybe my cat will catch them and eat them.
I agree. I will say a couple things on that. One, I love asparagus too. 18 years ago, I put in a purple passion, an heirloom purple passion, a couple crowns. And these aren't seeds, y'all, for those that are listening. You don't buy asparagus seeds and put them in the ground. You buy crowns. And they look like this beautiful, waterfall root structure. And you've got to bury those down about 18 inches. And it takes a little bit. You got to invest in it. But this is a perennial. Like, I've seen people, their patches have lasted 50 years and are still going on prolific. So you can't really harvest them until they're the size of a pencil. And that takes, a year or two, depending on your soil and your water and all that good stuff. But, man, once it gets going, it's crazy. And then I have the Martha Washington.
I think these are Martha Washingtons.
And those tend to have the red little berries.
Yes.
So you can scatter those all over. And it's like a 50-50 at that point, because, again, I do have some cats around my asparagus specifically to hunt and protect the patch, right? So, but no, it's nothing. Like, I would highly encourage anybody and everybody to go try to grow asparagus, take that and make that investment, because I will tell you what, there's nothing like eating it raw. Julie, have you ever eaten it raw?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-mm. I don't think so. I have no idea. I can't imagine.
I'm writing that down. I'm taking notes. Julie,
put it
raw
down.
asparagus.
Another
Got
project for Julie. But, it's funny. There's a pea smell that goes with it, right? So I don't know if y'all have ever experienced that, but like half of the population, I could be wrong, ask Google, who knows, But there's a certain amount of the population whose pee it makes smell, very strong, potent. And
I've
then there's
heard
some that
that.
don't get any smell. Yeah, so it's kind of a little fun fact. But the point is that's super duper full of nutrition. It's one of those early bursters that's coming out. I have literally put a yard, like a measuring stick in my garden, and I have left the house at 5:30 to go do my thing, came back at the end of the day. That thing grew like 5 to 6 inches. I am not kidding. So this is one of
Yep.
these, fast growing, powerful, nutritious, intense aspects we want to also add to our diet. So I'm so glad you're showing that tonight.
We love asparagus, and you want to get it before it opens. I like to get it when it's nice and tender. These are starting to kind of open up a little bit and flower. They're still good, but the stalks start to get a little tough when they start to get the flowery look to them. And then this one is just an example of one that you probably wouldn't eat because it's kind of already fluffed out and started to turn into that ferny looking kind of feel.
Yeah, some people don't realize those turn into ferns. It's like, in August, September, people are like, what are you growing? I'm like, that's asparagus. And they're like, what?
Yeah.
I've never seen asparagus look like that before.
Yeah, and there's actually male and female too. So
Right.
the male have the berries and the females don't. Is that right? That's how I've always heard it.
I can't guarantee that. I can't speak to that. I know my limitations. All I know is I love it. I try to grow it, and I'm happy.
But you
when
got
the
to have
birds take
both.
it.
Like if
Yeah.
you only have ones that have all berries, then they'll be sterile. Or if you have ones that you never see berries, with this particular kind, you need both in order to get fertile seed.
And I don't know about your patch, but like I have seen mine move around my garden. So wherever it packs
Yes.
up, I'm like, oh, honey, you can stay. Let me love you a little
Yep.
bit here. So, I mean, it does move around. I don't know if that's the
Yeah, it
birds
does.
or just
It does.
like something's
Yep.
actually happening, like I'm transporting it. But I've also seen it grow in some really weird places, and then it disappears, like you said, maybe it's falls. But
Well,
yeah,
I have
good
mine
stuff.
planted in this nice little place with rocks around it, and we gather it on the outside of the rocks now too, and kind of where you don't mow, of course, because you probably keep it mowed off if you're not paying attention. But it definitely has jumped out of the bed for sure. Well, let's talk a little bit, Nicolle, about what you've been doing because, you have been rocking in the woods. I mean, you have just been going full bore, cutting trees and doing all kinds of stuff. You got like this pit crew of volunteers that just go in and like Speedy Gonzalez, like going all over the place, cutting trees. What are you doing?
That's a great description of these incredible volunteers. So the Allegheny Trail, we had an incredible ice storm, and one of the highest parts of the trail was about 34 miles long, and it went from Cass, for those of you that know the trail, or the little town of Cass, where it has the scenic railroad, it's a state park over there, West Virginia State Park, all the way to Durban, which is the dead center of the trail. It's the dead center of the Mon Forest, and it's a Mon Forest town. From there, then the ice storm continued up the ridge, up into Cheat Mountain, Schaefer's Mountain, towards the way we would come to you, right? And ended in Glady.
Mhm. Right. This is
So-
section 2, and this is the
Correct.
section that we call home.
Correct. And so we been partnering with the Forest Service, and we know kind of things have been going on with the Forest Service, but it got down to the point where we were opening the roads. We were sawing the roads open, the Forest Service roads, to even get to our work days. That's how bad the storm was. And I'm not taking anything away from what happened in North Carolina by any means, because in Tennessee, South Carolina, Virginia, with the huge, huge storms down there. But for this area, that was pretty significant. We've had an incredible amount of selfless people. I'm going to be making a reel later this week, but we've had over 34 different volunteers come out in 4 different weekends and saw their little butts off. We've basically went about 34 miles. And I mean, in some treacherous terrain where some of the sawing, you'd have 5 sawyers and you'd saw for 5 hours and you wouldn't go 3/10 of a mile. And then we had other groups who went out, and man, we started at 9 in the morning. We came out of the woods at 7 at night. I mean, our dogs are barking, every part of our body's barking. We're hungry, we're tired. We're like, y'all gonna do this tomorrow? Yep. All right, we'll see you. See you in the morning, 7 o'clock. It's just that type of effort and that type of resilience and gift we we get to partner with each other and get this trail open. We just completed it yesterday. So kudos to all those
Wow.
people. And those age ranges went from like 14 to 76 out on trail, kicking butt, taking names, not just chainsawing, which there were plenty of those. I think at the end of the day, we partnered with the Forest Service some. So I think we ended up having 14 different sawyers alone.
That's incredible.
It truly is. And so we had an alternate route going of 16 miles, which we can now graciously open back up to our hikers. And we're excited as heck. I'm not going to lie. It took a lot out of people to get it done. But these volunteers, I mean, Julie, I know you can speak to it. Marsha, I know you got a ton of volunteers in your backyard for different organizations. It's a special breed. They are truly selfless. They are truly dedicated to the task and the goal at hand. And I don't care how many blisters you have. I don't care how much, you're in pain. You just keep going, which is pretty cool to work around those people. And I just can't say enough. It's been a privilege to kind of organize this stuff and keep it rolling. And I'm not saying we're done maintaining, but we are done with that section. Thank the Lord.
Well, and in this time, in this day and age, it's so hard to even find somebody, a warm body to show up for work to get paid. And to find this kind of dedication and resilience from volunteers is just amazing. I mean, these people are amazing.
I echo that 100%. And it's wonderful to hear people like you guys see it, appreciate it. You understand it. Like you just knowing what you just said. It's really powerful, and it's a gift to be a part of such a great team. That's what I'll say.
Right. And it's so refreshing, to see people, take ownership in something that means so much to them and do things for other people. There's no selfish reasons behind any of this. It's like they want to, these volunteers, they can walk this trail anytime they want to, but what they're doing is benefiting people who are going to walk that trail maybe for the first time. They don't know their way around the trees. These are people, local people, we know how to get around those trees without cutting them out. We could just take a different route or whatever, but to be able to take that kind of initiative and care enough about a trail that you would keep it going is just so refreshing. So awesome.
Thank you for that. I'll be sure to pass that on to all of our volunteers too. That means a lot. I know the town people, the little towns we were in are like, oh, those are the trail people. They're the trail maintainers. They were excited.
Yep.
It's just, it lightens the mood. It really is like a dandelion. Yep. Trust me, we are absolutely exhausted at the end of the night. Well, darkness, we're closing up by 8:00. You know what I mean? But no, it's really cool. We got an incredible group of people. So thank you again for that. And Montown support too. Just all good stuff. We had a Mon Forest Town Day in the forest, was a privilege to be a part of. And that looked like each one of the 12 Mon Towns in the Mon Forest had an event on their own, whatever they wanted to do as a Durban rep. For example, we did a whole new flower garden. We got all nice designs out with the flowers. We did flower baskets. We're looking at painting a bunch of new like garbage cans, having kids come in, and not the can, but you know what I'm saying, like the receptacle area that's along the main street there. We did a garbage pickup, which we did 6 miles, 4 people, 6 miles. We had 24 bags. Just like trash pickup along the side of the road, coming in from into Durban. Yeah, it's kind of cool. Really great stuff to be a part of, as well as the town. We did town sweeping. We got all the cinders off the sidewalks, and another great effort. It's just fun to be a part of. People getting up at 9:00 in the morning, showing up rain or shine, because they're committed. They want this to be a beautiful place.
That is so awesome. And kudos to you. Thank you so much for helping to organize and pull that group together. Just so you know, not everybody can get a group together like that either. It says a whole lot about your leadership. And I just want you to know that I'm proud of you, friend. I am so proud of you for being able to get that kind of group together and keep them coming back. If I, got somebody together and they went out and they were that tired and cut so many miles and everything, you're lucky to see those people the next day. You're talking about several weekends of work, and it takes a true leader to bring those people together and make them feel like they're a part of something that they want to continue to be a part of.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that compliment. And they're people that are exceptionally special. That, like you said, it's one thing to be a leader, but it's another. And I appreciate that compliment very much. It's another to be alongside literally incredible human beings that are so dedicated. And it's a gift. I got a gift to gab, so I'm recruiting all the time. You guys, you know that.
Well, did you want to talk a little bit about some rendezvous thing coming up?
Oh, yeah. Heck yeah. We got a rendezvous for those of you that ever heard of a rendezvous, because this is happening in the Mon Forest, the Monongahela National Forest. We're calling it a rendezvous. It's going to be June 2021, 22. Here we go. Loving it. It's for anybody who wants to come out. It's a family-friendly event. We're going to have all kinds of trail work options, an opportunity to give back. We're going to do guided tours, send y'all somewhere that meets your goals, your needs, your experiences. We got local beers, we got bands, we got all kinds of opportunities to collaborate over wicked campfires and just explore and understand a little bit more about our forest and what is here for a trail user. Again, so it's for all trail users, not just hikers. But we're going to have some historical walks and talks, and it's just going to be a blast. I'm going to be there. Looking forward to maybe meeting some of y'all coming out. Very inexpensive opportunity to come and enjoy nature. And the whole point is to team up, do our part, and learn a little bit. So thanks for the opportunity for that commercial. And if you just Google Rendezvous, it's going to come right up because there's never been one before. Google knows what it is.
And also coming up, we have May 9th through the 11th. That's this weekend, the Safe Women Retreat. So we're going to have all kinds of really cool things going on. Now, Julie, we're going to be showing your Safe and Found documentary. You guys don't want to miss that. That's a really, really cool thing. And Julie will be joining us via Zoom to open all of that up. But we'll also have myself as a speaker. We're going to be doing hunter safety education. We're going to be doing concealed carry, firearm safety, and we'll also be doing situational awareness and self-defense. And we have, so it'll be myself, Julie, another Marsha. We're going to have two Marshas here this weekend, if you can believe that. Marsha Farrell will be joining us from Ohio. And then we're going to have Jean and Tamara Smithson. They'll be here from Elkins, and they're the jiu-jitsu and instructors for self-defense. So it's going to be a really cool thing. You can come all 3 days. Pay for all 3 days is $250, or you can come each day and break it out, and we'll be providing the food. It's going to be awesome. We'll be doing some foraging, some mountaineer mile walking, Allegheny Trail stuff. So there'll be a lot going on this weekend. You don't want to miss that. We also have crop management with West Virginia Extension, Ag Innovation trainings with the West Virginia Department of Agriculture, and that's going to be on Wednesday, May 14th. So if you want to join in or get details, you can go to lrcbnb.com and check on these. That's where you can register. Call us for more information. May is shaping up to be a really, really busy month, and it's going to be exciting. We'll have some great footage from all that stuff coming up. You'll get to see all the different events that we'll be having, so you don't want to miss any of that.
Love that you're offering all that stuff for people. Most people think that hunter safety and stuff kind of just in the fall. Oh, I need it because I'm going to go hunting. But it's great that you offer it year-round, Marsha. It's fantastic.
Well, we offer it, I think, 9 months out of the year. There's only a couple months that we don't offer. I think, only 3 months. It's December, March, and September are the only months that we don't offer it. But a colleague of mine offers it March and September, so we let him have those months. And then December is just too busy to do it, and the hunting seasons are over, and everybody should just be sipping on hot chocolate and waiting for Christmas.
Apple cider, baby.
So, but yeah, we try to provide, as much educational opportunities as we possibly can here on the farm. And, we're real excited about continuing those educational opportunities. So
speaking of education, I'm not going to let the cat out of the asparagus patch, but maybe there's something cool that's coming down the line. I don't know. There's like a little rumor about something I heard, baby.
Yeah, there's a really cool thing that we're cooking up for this fall. This is our 5th year anniversary. May 20th will be 5 years that this bed and breakfast has been here. And again, 66 countries and all but 2 of the United States. Hello, North and South Dakota. Come and visit. We have a really cool thing coming up that I think that everybody's going to really enjoy. And it's going to be a great time for the Waybright family to really share and show our appreciation and give back to our community. So keep watching. You'll hear more about that as it gets closer.
I'm excited too. Can't wait. What about you, Julie?
I'm like the audience. What's going on? I'm very intrigued. So I'm excited for you, Marsha. I'm excited for everything going on the farm. Every month there's a ton to talk about, and I'm excited to zoom in on Saturday and for y'all to see the film. The film now has over 30,000 views on YouTube, so
wow.
it just grows. About every 48 hours, it's showing about 200 people watch the film, so we're ecstatic about it. And the film was recently shown in a film festival last month. I think we had talked about that we were going, but it did happen. It was amazing. And so looking forward to that. And I'm going to turn it back over to you, Marsha.
We appreciate that documentary so much. In fact, you've inspired us to do more things here on the farm because of that. And it's just a really great thing. Everybody should go and check it out. And, anybody who wants to see it, we'll be showing it here different times through the summer as well. So a lot of our different activities that we do, we make that documentary a part of it because we feel like it's so important to help people. If we can save just one life, then it's worth it. Everything is worth it. So I'm going to ask Tiffany to come over here. Guess what I'm going to do? I am going to show you how good this jelly is.
Uh-oh. Is
I'm
that
going to put
what
it on
we're
a
wrapping
cracker
up with? A little taste test?
Yeah, the little taste test here. I'm going to give her a cracker. Everybody knows Tiffany. This is my daughter-in-law, married to the Laurel Fork Falconer. Notice her earrings. Can you see her earrings? She sells her earrings in our gift shop, so you'll just have to come and get some. So you take this one, and I'll take this one. So she's going to put a little bit. Now make sure you show the camera what you're doing there. She is taking the violet jelly, and I am going to take the lilac jelly. And we're going to cheers. Cheers. That is good stuff, guys. You're going to have to come and try this. I think we made like 3 pints of the lilac, and I'll try to save some back for y'all. But you'll have to come visit soon. I don't know how long I can hold everybody off.
I know. My pile is getting really big of what I got to do there, so.
You'll have enough to eat for like a whole week.
There we go.
I don't know if I talked about it, but in this jar is a little bit of goat milk from Tiffany's goats. She has the herd of miniature Nubians. And what do you call your goats?
My Grace Abound Mini.
Grace Abound Minis, and that's Redhead Mud Boots. She's started to do, I'm starting to teach her the stove business, and she's taken over that portion because, you just can't do everything right. And she's very excited. So she's going to be doing a lot of that stuff. And that's what we like to do here. We like to, we have no secret recipes. We teach, just about everything. Now, there are a few exceptions, but they are very rare and very few and far between. We have had some old timers who have taught us some things and asked us to keep a couple of secrets. And that's okay. We do that. We don't jeopardize any of those secrets, but anything that we come up with or most everything that we do here, we teach. And, people have been asking me about my biscuit recipe and oh, is that a secret? Because everybody loves my biscuits. That's actually on the YouTube channel. So if you want to, see some of our recipes and stuff, I have actually the very first recipe book that came out. We're going to be adding to that soon. It was kind of like just dipping my toes in the water to get that started. So it was a small recipe book, just kind of getting things out there, explaining a little bit of our culture and how important some of these recipes are to us. But we love to share and we love to teach. So that's what we're all about here.
All right. I don't know if we have anything else, Marsha.
I think that wraps it up pretty good.
Yeah. All the websites, the LRC B&B, the Mon Forest Town, all of that, y'all, is in the description. And we'll see you in June, the first week of June.
Proud of you, ladies.
All right. We'll check back in and see what's cooking next time.